All right, good evening. We are starting our special board meeting on July 14th, 2020. And welcome everybody. We're going to start off with roll call. So Gary, could you do roll call, please?
Okay, Miss Benton. Miss Benton. She's on mute.
I'm
Everybody,
here.
yeah, there we go.
Okay, Miss Benton.
Here.
Louis, Mr. Castro.
Here.
Mr. Martinez.
Here.
Mr. Munoz, present. Mr. Pereira.
Here.
Mrs. Rodriguez.
Here.
And Mrs. Smith, or Miss Smith.
Here. Here.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So we're now going to go to the Pledge of Allegiance. So could we all stand for the pledge? Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Okay, first up is the approval of the agenda. And before we do that, I just want to thank the many people that sent us emails, phone calls, text messages on the reopening plan on the agenda tonight. Every letter that I read, I heard the passion in the sender's voice, and they all had a very strong stance on their position, and they had some great reasons for taking their particular positions. And it's, we had many letters wanting us to start school 100%. No changes to what we have done in the past. Just start like we did all the other years. And then we had, of course, people who said, yeah, the hybrid model will work. I really like it. I think we're going to have some time with our kids, but other times when we won't. And parents, that was kind of a iffy one for them. And then, of course, a lot of comments on distance learning also from parents and school staff members. And, every letter had some really outstanding points. So it was so well received from us that we had so many letters that were so well put together. Was interesting. I received a letter after I received an email. I responded back to it. Then I got another a follow-up email from that same person a few minutes later, and it said, and they apologized about a typo in their email to me. And my response to them was, I was reading the passion in your letter. I wasn't reading the words. Or I should say, I was reading the word. I was reading the passion in the words. I wasn't reading the spelling of the words. And that's the whole thing that I saw. It was just so important that everybody got their point across, and you did it very well. as you know, there's never a one size fits all decision because we have so many people having totally different opinions. It's really difficult when you have some school districts such as Los Angeles and San Diego, even Stanislaus County, who take the position that they are going to open their schools right off the bat with distance learning. But then shortly after that happens, we have the leader of our great nation come on, and I'll read this. And he said, and I quote, "Schools should be open. Kids want to go to school. We are losing a lot of lives keeping things closed." But on the same day that we had the Los Angeles and the San Diego make that announcement that they were going strictly distant learning, we had Orange County Board of Education make the decision that they were going to open their schools without the requirement of face masks or distance learning in their classrooms. Social distance in their classrooms. And talk about mixed messages. There are messages. I mean, people, who do you listen to? We're hearing it from so many sides. And one of our neighbors, Dos Palace, has announced that they're going to school 5 days a week already, with full attendance every day. But that's about the only district in the county that I believe has made any kind of a decision. So it's out there, and parents are getting mixed messages, and staff is getting mixed messages. It's a very difficult decision. One of the things that I know is tomorrow, the superintendents of Merced County are going to have a meeting, and not knowing exactly what's going to become of that meeting or what's going to be the outcome of that meeting, we don't know what's going to happen in Merced County, but there may be a decision of something that we don't know. So I am going to pull item 2, the school reopening plan, from our agenda without opposition. But I want to pull that tonight, and I want to call a special meeting on Thursday at 5 o'clock to look at that issue, or maybe something different if there's a different outcome from that superintendent's meeting tomorrow. So we have to give 24-hour notice. So if they have the meeting tomorrow, we can send out the notice of the meeting by 5 o'clock tomorrow, and then have a 5 o'clock meeting on Thursday to either discuss any changes or discuss this plan again. So I would like to approve, I would like to do a pull of that item. And I will say that all of the comments that have been sent in to our Las Vegas USD, or actually LBUSD board email address for board comments, what I would like to do is I will keep those, and we will submit those for Thursday's meeting. So if you already sent a letter or an email for comment about the reopening plan, do not resend it. I will keep those, and if necessary, if we're going to be revisiting the reopening plan on Thursday, then we will use what you sent to us by the deadline today of 3 o'clock. And also, after the agenda is posted tomorrow, then we will actually reopen that again with additional opportunities for people to send in their comments. So right now it's closed to send in comments, but you can send in comments. If we are going to be talking about the same agenda item on Thursday, then we will keep your comments and use them on Thursday. All right, so that is my recommendation and my suggestion and what I want to do. But of course, it takes an approval of the agenda to change the agenda. So I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended or as is.
As is. I make the motion, Anthony,
To do what?
to accept the agenda.
as is or with the amendment? With the
the
change?
amendment. With the amendment.
With the change. All right, so we have a motion to approve the agenda with the pool of item 2, reopening school plan. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Wait a minute, who was that?
I second it.
All right, so we got a motion by Mr. Munoz, seconded by Mr. Martinez to approve the agenda with the pull of item 2. Roll call, Tina? Or before we do the roll call, I should ask, is there any discussion or further discussion on that?
Not
All
here.
right. All right, go ahead, Tina, please, with the roll call.
Ms. Benton,
Yes.
Mr. Castro, Mr. Castro,
Yes.
thank you. Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Munoz,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Pereira.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. On to the first item on the agenda, which is the resolution 1820 authorizing the issuance of and sale of bonds. And we have with us tonight Adam Bauer, who is our financial consultant. And this is actually good news because I think it does kind of change some of the bond structures a little bit. Adam, would you give us a little background? You gave us a study session on this last Thursday, but just a quick, brief update of what this is actually going to look like.
Right, and thank you. I also have Jason Chung with our office as well, and the two of us work together to assist Los Gatos Unified School District. So as a result of these bonds being sold approximately 10 years ago, that piece allows for these bonds to be refinanced. Typically, municipal bonds have a 10-year period where they cannot be refinanced. That, along with the extremely low interest rate environment, have allowed for us to look at a refinancing of this transaction. Now, in many cases, you don't do a whole lot of restructuring. You just kind of look at saving a little bit each year. But given that our Measure X is a tax rate extension, meaning it incorporates a prior GEO-bond measure into the tax rate, we're able to target specifically 1 year of savings, which will allow us to get more access to Measure X sooner. And so that when the board president talked a bit about a restructuring, it was twofold: is take advantage of the taxpayer savings, but strategically do that so that it frees up more capacity within Measure X. So that's a high level. We went through that in about 15 slides at the study session. Happy to provide any more detail.
Adam, I just want to ask a question. The benefit is going to outweigh this bond's timeframe. The benefit to the district is going to be measurable. It's not going to cost us any more to do this than we're going to spend.
So the way we presented the numbers is all the savings, and I'll get to those. I'll talk about the savings in a moment, but the savings are after all the costs are paid. The costs are paid from the financing, and in order to calculate the savings, we need to be able to say we've accounted for all the costs associated with that. So when we do that, we look at savings, and this is, like I said, this is after all the costs have been paid for, of about $436,000 in savings, and maybe a little bit more than that because rates have gone down. When you present value that, you get to about $420,000 in savings. And like I said, those are after you've paid all the financing professionals to undertake the transaction on behalf of the district.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Like I said, we did have a complete study session on this last Thursday. So I think a lot of us got our questions answered back then. And if there are no other questions or concerns, I do need a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept
the refinancing. I'll second it.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion by Rodriguez, seconded by Benton, to adopt resolution 18-20. Roll call, please, Tina.
Ms. Benton,
Yes.
Mr. Castro,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Munoz,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
yes.
Mr. Pereira.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. We have
Thank
not are not going to take up item number 2. So right now we are going into closed session. Thank you for those that have joined us, and good night. All the board members, please stay on the screen, and everybody else, thank you to Adam and Jason for joining us. Tina, thank you very much for being here, and we will go into closed session in just a couple of minutes. All right. Thank you, everybody.